is In the Know for Friday, March 28th, the 87th day of 2025. There are 278 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station. 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Warm temperatures on the way. We'll talk about that, NCAA tournament, and more of that, and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beej. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Okay.
I have a pop quiz for you. I ran across a list today of tourist traps that are 100% worth the trip.
Ooh.
I have removed the ones that you have been to. So I'm asking of the ones that you have not been to, which of these sounds like you would want to visit the most or first?
Okay.
Mount Rushmore, the Eiffel Tower, Times Square, or Niagara Falls?
Times Square.
Times Square, okay, New York. So that would, you have a second place?
I don't know. What are my options again?
The Eiffel Tower, Mount
Eiffel
Rushmore. So a trip to Paris is
Yes.
better than a trip to South Dakota?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Always.
Yeah,
Yes.
the others, you've been to Bourbon Street, you've been
Yes.
to Disney World, that was on the list.
Those are interesting choices.
There was a rainforest on there. These are tourist traps that are 100% worth the trip, according to
Okay.
this list. And then the Blue Lagoon, which I don't know where the Blue Lagoon is, so I didn't include it on the list. But
Oh, well,
apparently
see,
I need
that
to
could
look
have been
it
the
up.
one.
I don't. Well, we'll have to investigate it a little bit more. You know, it might be in Butler County, so we got to know where it is before we can consider going. He is a 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley, and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm okay. Feeling good about the day. Feeling good about the sunshine. Feeling good about the tournament last night. Looking forward to the tournament tonight. But the Yankees got off to a good start. Terry Francona's debut in Cincinnati, not so much. Can't really blame it on him, though, right?
Yeah, I was not able to watch, so I got to watch the first. I watched the top of the first inning here, and then as I was driving, I was listening to. I got to maybe listen to the bottom of the first, top of the second, and then as we were setting up, I got to listen to a little bit, but then I had to turn it off because we were at softball.
I was wanted to be very quick to get to you and let you know that I did turn over at the conclusion of the Yankees game. I did turn over to the Reds game, but the home run had already been hit in the top of the ninth, so it happened before I got there, so it can't be blamed on me for tuning over. So I just wanted to be clear that it's not my jinx that did.
It's about when I turned it off that they were winning 3-0 when I turned it off, so it was yeah. I mean, hey. Can't go 161-1 without losing one. So
that's right. Well, perhaps the best news on the season is that the Reds are now available in the MLB app since the Bally Sports Network or whatever blew up.
Did not. Well, I guess did it allow to watch you because I thought it was still under blackout. You had to do it through the Bally or the FanDuel app.
Nope. Let me right at it.
Oh well, so I did it through the FanDuel app, which I guess works the same.
I was expecting there to be some an obstacle, like it would show up in the app, like, do you want to watch the Reds and the Giants? And I was like, yes, I do. Do you want to watch the Reds coverage or the Giants coverage? I said, give me the Reds coverage, and it took me right in there. And I was like, well, now this is found money, because historically you're not able to watch the Reds on the MLB app.
Yeah, because I know that they've changed some of the rules and stuff, but I know that I can. So I've done it through the FanDuel Sports Network or something. Which will be nice.
This is a great time of year sports-wise. To me, it's the best season. It's the best time of the entire year.
Best about month and a half period of sports. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean just the 3 weeks, the 3 weekends of the NCAA tournament are kind of like brackets, but then you put the Masters after that. You got the conference tournament,
goodness.
and then you've got MLB opening day and just excitement. And then that paves right into Derby season, and then that it's an exciting time. Sunny and warm today. We are going to see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day as temperatures will soar into the upper 70s, even into the lower 80s, depending upon where in the region you are. Southerly wind gusts near 30 miles an hour are going to help that warming process. So just be prepared for your garbage can to be somewhere else this afternoon. While an isolated shower is possible, most of the day is going to be dry. Sunday, still an alert day from our partners at WAVE, as strong to severe storms are likely during the late evening hours after a morning rain chance. So you might see some early rain on Sunday and then some late evening rain. The late evening rain where you would more likely to see storms. So just be prepared. Partly cloudy today, windy, a high of 82. Mostly cloudy, 64 is the overnight low. Scattered showers tomorrow and a high of 76. Hopefully the scattered showers are enough to allow for some grass cutting. Be the first mowing of the season tomorrow for yours truly, so hopefully I can get that in. Of course, grass cutting only leads to whippersnippering. Remember, I learned earlier this week that our friends down under call their weed eaters whippersnippers, and so I'm going to follow suit. Earlier this week, it became legal in the state of Kentucky for 15-year-olds to get their driver's permit. I hadn't really considered the scramble that puts the transportation cabinet in because they're the ones implementing said change to the law.
But they're excited.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're going to get their systems tested. The transportation cabinet is making system upgrades so a credential can be issued, allowing eligible applicants to take the written permit test. I presume that's like a firmware upgrade because it's really only a date thing. Just simply changing the permitted allowed date to 12 months earlier, basically. But if you already have an appointment prior to April 2, you probably want to reschedule or at least confirm your appointment again, because adding this surge of 15-year-olds in and allowing for these appointments, that is also potentially going to create congestion for those of you who have delayed the Real ID process, because we're closing in on the final 5 weeks of that before you either have to have a Real ID or a passport if you want to board a domestic flight or you want to enter a governmental building, military base, etc. Drive.ky.gov is the best place for you to go for your information. That's where you can get email updates and be notified when the system is ready. There is another article you can find online. And at the Transportation Cabinet website, there's a checklist on there on what you need to do and how it impacts the 15-year-olds that are impacted. Governor Beshear, I didn't run to the printer and get my last story, but the legislature got back into session yesterday, and they did override the veto of most everything, if not everything, that the governor did. They overrode the vetoes on conversion therapy, on the abortion bill, and more. Early yesterday afternoon, they did the first of two overrides. A few hours later, they did a second one. He had on the conversion therapy, also on the gender reassignment, and on the abortion bill. Now, one thing he did not do, and this is where he's having to ride the rail a little bit. He did not veto the Ten Commandments resolution. He let that go without a signature, and I found that to be interesting. He professes, and I believe him to be a man of faith. He's active in his church, etc. But there are these religious and spiritual issues where he has to kind of ride a very fine line between what some of the ideology of his political party would be and maybe where he might be convicted as a Christian to do. And the Ten Commandments is one of those issues where if you're a Bible-believing Christian, you have to understand the significance of the Ten Commandments, et cetera, et cetera. I think he knows that he doesn't have to lift a finger on that, and there's likely a legal challenge down the road, although the move by the legislature is as a result of clarity from the Supreme Court. So I think that's one of those he just doesn't want to touch because there's far more potential damage to him politically than there would be gain in intervening in it in some way. So that did go through without any involvement from him, other than just watching it cross his desk and become law. Police are, so final day today. This is the final day of the, I think they call it Sin Day, Sin Die. Is their final day. They will gavel out of session later today in Frankfort. Police are looking for a man with multiple felony convictions who's wanted in Ohio County. 38-year-old Aaron Newcomb is wanted on several drug-related charges and fleeing or evading police. He has a combined 6 arrest warrants in Ohio and Davis County, according to state police. U of L has made a change in president, and I had missed a memo somehow that they had even, I never knew when Neely Bendapudi left. I know I hadn't heard anything about her in a while, but apparently Dr. Schatzel, Schatzel, Kim is her first name. She has resigned effective immediately, and they have hired her successor. The new president of the University of Louisville, the 20th president, is Jerry Bradley, formerly executive vice president and university provost. He is now also effective immediately the president of the University of Louisville.
Seems quick.
You might have heard this on. Yeah, there's more there than meets the eye, I suppose. If they made it that, if those just kind of lined up. Typically, there's a search committee, et cetera. So something going on there. You might have heard on KNN News yesterday about the former nurse that has been sentenced to federal prison after admitting to stealing medication from nursing home residents where she worked. 51-year-old Abigail Hall of Lexington worked as a registered nurse at Signature Healthcare at Heritage Hall and Rehab in Lawrenceburg when she was accused in December of 2023 of stealing morphine from the facility. She was arrested after someone reported an intoxicated person leaving the nursing home. The Lawrenceburg Police Department conducted a traffic stop and arrested Hall after she failed a field sobriety test. They also located 7 syringes containing a blue liquid in her backpack. She basically swapping medicine for this blue liquid that looked like medicine. And they have, I thought that there was a different geographical connection to that yesterday when I was reading the story, but that apparently happened in Anderson County. I had heard, my ear heard Harrison County, not Anderson County. 3 Grayson County High School seniors recently placed at the 2025 WKU math contest. 3 students, Rayleigh Shepard, Tate Kane, and Amelia Haynes, came in 3rd place in the senior team event as they worked in tandem to arrive at answers and topics that included complex numbers, geometry, physics, algebra, and word problems. So congratulations.
Shout out to Tate. Tate's a member of our crew.
I was gonna, yeah, I can't believe Tate is that old.
Well, they've got
I mean, I've known him since he was a baby.
multiple people from that sibling group that have been on our team.
Yeah.
So obviously Brianna's little brother. So Tate has gotten big all of a sudden. You know,
I mean,
see
he
him
was
like, whoa.
itty
Yeah,
bitty.
that's right. So congratulations to him. Speaking of our crew, including Sam, you all were at Grayson County High School yesterday for the first Lady Cougar softball broadcast of the season. Kind of recap that for us, Sam.
Yeah, it was a tough one for the Lady Cougars last night. They fell behind 4-0 before they even were able to swing the bats. Were able to kind of chip it away, but Breck added a couple insurance runs in the 7th inning, and they ended up winning 8-5 in that game. It was a pretty entertaining game to watch, though, back and forth, and just Grayson could not get over the hump. But I think it's one of those games that you can learn a lot from, and it's good to have a game like that, I think, at least in my eyes, on March the 27th.
Absolutely. And so they're both boys and girls are in action today.
Yeah, the girls open district play. They will travel to Butler County tonight, and then the boys are at Barron County for baseball. And then baseball will be at home tomorrow. They're scheduled to be, as they're taking on the Louisville Homeschool. So I guess there's a homeschool group up there that's coming together, and they're going to be playing a doubleheader. So if you're looking for something to do on a Saturday morning / afternoon, that's at 10 and 12 tomorrow. So you can go out to Don Lee Field and cheer on the baseball team that way.
The Sweet 16 in the NCAA got underway last night and will continue tonight. But I watched portions of the first two games, and then I fell asleep before I wasn't going to stay up to watch. I didn't want to see Cal lose that bad that I had to stay up. But so I woke up to find out what had happened, and it was an exciting finish. But and I happened to stumble across, our friend Barry, Professor Elbow Patches. I saw him surmise and summarize this way. I'll just share what he said because I thought he expressed it pretty well. He said, the more things change, the jerseys are red instead of blue, the more they stay the same. A timeout in his back pocket, down 2 points, 7 seconds to go in overtime. Does Cal draw up a play? Nope. Said, sorry, my Hog fan friends, but that's how Cal rolls, and it ain't going to change. That's not what an English professor would say. He wouldn't say ain't. At least you guys made it past the first weekend. Losing stinks, especially with a roster with so much talent. You have my sympathy. It looked like exactly what has happened to Kentucky, only 2 rounds further in the tournament than recent. But
See,
it was
not really though. I mean, Kentucky.
You don't
I mean,
think?
no. I mean, I think I don't know. I just like they brought up the stat at halftime when Cal's leading by 5 points or more, he's never lost until last night in the NCAA tournament.
But they blew a 16-point lead.
Yeah, but when they've been leading by 5, so it's rare that he ever did. Now, I mean, there are a couple of ones that you could draw to, but I think some of it too is Texas Tech was making they didn't make any shots, and then all of a sudden started making shots, and Arkansas was making every shot, and then started not making shots.
The law of averages took.
Yeah,
over
it just
both
kind of
directions.
balanced itself out, and I mean, the not calling a timeout, I don't know. I looked into some of the stats on that. I remember when I was working for KSR, and there was really no correlation towards success under Cal, whether he took a timeout or not. I mean, you think back to the Brandon Knight shot that he hit against Ohio State. There was no timeout taken there, and he hit it. So I mean, there are plenty of examples of both sides of the coin there.
But I guess the point that many people are probably trying to make, or the feeling that they're having, is exactly what happened to Arkansas last night is exactly what would have happened to Kentucky if nothing had changed, and probably, perhaps, even at the same point of the tournament. Now, that doesn't mean Kentucky's going to get any further than Arkansas is. They'll get a chance to prove that tonight. But I found it interesting. I saw a meme the other day. Someone, and it might have been a member of the Arkansas media, but it showed an array of 4 coaches. And it was Pope, it was Cal, it was BYU's new coach, and it said the coaching carousel worked out well for 3 of these 4. And on the right-hand column was Musselman at USC. And so it shows you that if you're Arkansas, you like your position. If you're Kentucky, you like your position. If you're BYU, you like your position. So the loser of that carousel was Southern California.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, that's 1 year in. It didn't inherit a great situation, and also was transitioning into the Big Ten. So you could read into that a little bit, but yeah, I don't know.
He is also living in Los Angeles, so
Which is where he wants to be. Yeah, he's a West Coast guy.
It's not a problem. There are benefits to doing that. And so it's UK's turn tonight, and apparently Weetabix fever is taking over. Even Otega Owe has decided he likes Weetabix. He said, I just warm my milk, just throw it in there. It's like wheat, but I drink it. It's got sugar, so it's really sweet. So it has been amazing. There's been so much Weetabix purchased. I heard on KSR earlier this week, I thought Matt did a good job of kind of summarizing this as well. It just feels fun again. Like just the program and Pope's ability to understand the novelty of the denim uniforms and some of the things that were happening in the mid-'90s, something small that UK fans would just take and run with that we are notorious for, had not really outside of Oscar really been a thing the last few years. The Reed and Rob thing was just a little bit. But just finding something like this to rally around and unite and celebrate fandom, just kind of the fun has returned, or at least I get the sensation of that. And I've lived through several seasons of UK basketball, so seem to be.
I want some Weetabix.
You want some Weetabix?
I do.
You have to get on a waiting list to get them. I think we bought every They're hard to find. Weetabix hard to find at the moment, but I'm sure we can come up with some somewhere. Coverage tonight. What is it? A 6:40 tip Central Time. 6:40 tip Central Time. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way here on In the Know.
At Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield, Dr. Priyank Chauhan provides compassionate care for adults and seniors. Board certified in internal and geriatric medicine, he's dedicated to managing chronic conditions, preserving independence, and enhancing the quality of life. Proudly serving Grayson County because your health matters. Schedule today. Call Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield at 270-259-8888.
When buying or selling a home, you want experience, trust, and personal touch. But they say you can only pick two. Well, with Gina Lastly at Tom Baxter Real Estate, you get all three. With a decade of expertise as a broker, Gina's attention to detail and passion for real estate make her a trusted friend and professional. She goes above and beyond to ensure your real estate journey is smooth and successful.
I'm Gina Leslie. Put my passion for real estate to work for you. Call me now at 217-721-0034.
Discover the difference at TomBaxterRealEstate.com.
Yellowwood knows that a five-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories. Like roasting marshmallows on a cool fall night. That's it. Turn it nice and slow. Get it toasted all... Oh no, it's on fire. Oh, you want it on fire. Okay, that's a choice, I guess. Crunchy. For five-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start May 11th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, College for the Real World.
Instagram is announcing a new school partnership program available to all middle and high schools in the U.S. that allows schools to report posts or verified student accounts directly to Instagram that may violate the app's anti-bullying guidelines. These reports are then automatically prioritized for review, and the schools are alerted to the action taken. Participating schools will feature a school partner banner on their profiles indicating their involvement in the program. Google has unveiled Gemini 2.5, an AI model that thinks before it answers a question. Google is announcing Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental is available now in Google AI Studio, as well as in the Gemini app for subscribers to the company's $20 a month AI plan, Gemini Advanced. Google claims the multimodal reasoning AI model is its smartest model yet. And Napster has been sold for about $200 million. The file-sharing app became famous 25 years ago for allowing users to swap music files free of charge, then was shut down by lawsuits 2 years later. Tech Report, I'm Mark Mayfield.
Today is something on a stick day. On a stick, it is hot tub day. I know a young lady that really likes a hot tub. Alea Elizabeth does. Tomorrow is piano day. Tomorrow is brothers and sisters day. Sunday is pencil day. Sunday is take a walk in the park day. And Sunday is grass is always browner on the other side of the fence day. Now, we have a tendency to think the grass is greener. This is an opportunity to focus on how green the grass is on your side of the fence. And so that's what we'll be celebrating on Sunday. I saw a headline this morning that I probably historically would have just kind of kept on cruising, but it connected to me in a way because something was happening to me at that particular moment that made me wonder if I didn't need to read this. A new study says these foods that can slash a tinnitus risk, or what you will hear some people call tinnitus, depending upon where you live. It is a frustrating, ringing, buzzing, or whooshing sound that no one else can hear, and it affects a staggering 740 million people worldwide. Tinnitus is the perception of noise without an external sound source. It has long been considered a condition with limited treatment options and no cure, but exciting new research suggests your grocery list might hold powerful keys to prevention. Now, I don't know that I have it, but I think I have a very, at the very least, I have a very, very small or reduced case of it. Because I sometimes sit around and think that there are these faint, like, crickets or buzzing or static sound or something. And it wouldn't make sense considering these things that that are covering my ears at the moment and have for
Oh dear.
35 years, 40 years, well, closing in on it. And so it is just kind of comes with aging anyway, or it impacts a lot of people. But it's kind of weird in how our ears, we both have problems or the potential to have problems with our ears in completely opposite ways.
Yes. Like if you add that to mine, just go ahead and push me over the edge. Because if you add that to me, I'm going to lose my mind.
So when you sit in a room and it's quiet, is it just quiet or is there this weird faint staticky noise in the background?
I don't hear the staticky noise, but there is never true quiet for me. Ever.
But there's always something running. There's like a fan on this equipment.
The
and
fridge.
that, and
I mean, like
a what, Sam?
you got fridges and so on that just make a little bit of a
Exactly.
or
When the power
in the
goes
case
out-
of in the case of our old building, our fridge would take off.
That was
Which-
a helicopter back there.
Launchpad
See,
51.
and that would be one thing that I would never hear. It'd always be funny when we'd have like a new crew member who'd be sitting in there and they'd like jump. What was that? I'm like, what was what? Because I was the closest to it that I never would hear it.
You were ear blind.
Yeah.
I guess that would be ear deaf.
Sitting
I'm
next
ear
to it
deaf
by
that.
for however many years it was, I never even heard it anymore.
Tune that right on
Well, I
out.
have known people who have like severe cases of tinnitus, and so I've always just wondered, like, is that going to be a thing that I'm going to have?
Is that going to be your old person thing?
Maybe. I already know. I already know for a fact that I'm going to have. I'm going to have hearing issues. There's just no two ways about it. In fact, I'm already. So before church, all right, you're sitting on carrying a conversation with someone, and there are 6 other conversations happening nearby with other people, and all that noise goes together, and it makes it nearly impossible for me to concentrate and focus.
There are times, yeah. I repeat myself. So
Are you kind of like the Grinch there? All that noise.
All that noise. Typically, when she has to repeat herself is when she's pointing away from me, though, and I don't have the ability to look and see what she's saying.
I think in that case, which I try not to be the Grinch, all that noise, but I do feel that way sometimes, but not necessarily in reference to him. But I do have to repeat myself, and he's right. It's typically if he's not looking at me. But I also talk to myself so much that part of that may be tuning out because he really doesn't know who I'm talking to. It could be self, it could be the dog, it could be the kid, it could be the plants, it could be anything. I could be talking to the mixer. Who
Yeah, you have to
knows?
first. There are words out before you realize, okay, this one's directed to me. Hang on. I will tell you another thing. We have this 100% smooth surface floors. The sound, the way it bounces, even in this studio, the way that it bounces also makes it hard because it's almost like a canyon effect, especially when you have some level of. I also believe I have ENT issues that I've never fully addressed. Like I think there's congestion in my head that impacts my hearing as well, because sometimes my ears open up and I go, oh wow, I couldn't hear all that stuff, and now I can. So there's more there than perhaps meets the eye. But for those of you who have tinnitus, you're saying, what's in the diet?
Yes,
I don't care
right?
about you. What's
Come
in the
on
diet
now.
that can help? Fruits have emerged as a superstar protector. Dairy products have shown impressive protective benefits. Caffeine consumption offered unexpected protection, and dietary fiber has helped. It's basically anti-inflammatory stuff, and I guess that's what they're saying, that it has to do with the, that inflamed, enlarged. That's where some of those conditions are coming from.
So,
They give you that sign.
I don't know if this was included in the study or if, in fact, I don't know, this is maybe a Christie thing, but for nursing babies, they are, there's some scientific research done that nursed babies are less likely to have ear infections, ear conditions, etc., because the way that they nurse that way, as opposed to a bottle, opens up the canals of the ears and leads to less problems down the road.
All right, I can help.
Here's a tidbit for you.
Here are 11 signs you were raised by a boomer dad. If your dad was a baby boomer, here are 11 signs that perhaps are more likely than if you were raised by another generation.
Okay,
First,
whose dad is a boomer, first of all?
well, these would be the children of the World War II era age.
Okay.
So these would be my parents' age,
Okay.
people that are now in their mid-70s and, plus or minus 5 years or plus or minus 10 in either direction.
Okay.
Consider they would be.
Or
boomers.
are you sure they're calling them that and not saying baby boomers by saying that? Because that's what, like, when I hear boomers, I'm thinking baby boomers.
Yeah, baby boomers. That's who I'm talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, like,
Members of the baby boom are my parents' age.
yeah. Okay.
They're,
Yeah.
they're the kids that were, born around 1950, right after World War II.
So this is about you.
Gotcha.
Yes, this is
Okay.
exactly about me.
Thank
That's
you.
exactly
We were
right.
trying to.
Yeah.
Because I have.
Sorry,
one
sorry. I
about
thought when you
coming
said that, I thought you were saying this was about your parents who were raised by their parents, kind of thing.
up.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
These are things that people of my parents' age taught people my age.
Okay.
One, you have respect for authority. Two, you have a do-it-yourself mentality. Three, you have a deep love for classic rock and sports. Four, you have a strong work ethic. Five, you have a no-nonsense approach to life. Six, you are using technology minimally.
Oh.
Seven, you love the outdoors.
You were doing well.
Yeah. You were getting it real close,
Yes,
and then
you were. Uh-huh.
and then
Eight,
you might have
you-
just failed the entire list on that one.
I'm down. I can tell you, I'm going to score about a 70. You've always been independent. 9, you budget wisely. 10, you respect hard-earned success. And 11, you appreciate the simple things. Appreciation of the simple things is something that comes with age, and I find myself doing it more and more. You would have never convinced me that I would enjoy using an app that tells me what birds are nearby in the backyard.
That is true. It's very true.
It's completely true. And so,
And then he sends it to me.
yes, and so here are the birds.
And I'm
that
on
are
the
near-
other
here-
porch.
Here are the birds that are nearby. So I'm just saying
We
that
are-
those are
we're
things that
getting
come
old.
with.
I was gonna say that's pretty old.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there were those that I go, oh yeah, that's me, and then I got to them like, nope, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. But I do see an overarching theme of the things and the lessons that are being taught there. I won't say that I love the outdoors, but I certainly don't hate the outdoors by any stretch. And technology minimally.
right.
What's maximally? Is maximally a word? Because
That's probably you. Yeah.
Here are 11 signs that you were raised by a Gen X mom. So people that are 25 to 35 being raised by people who are 50 to 60.
Okay.
so me.
So we just skip me right over.
This would be
Okay.
you, Sam. This would be you. One, you were allowed to experience life's natural consequences. Two, you were encouraged to be independent. Three, you spent a lot of time alone. Four, you had a packed schedule.
Okay.
5, you weren't often compared to other kids.
Okay.
6, your mom was pretty much always the class chaperone.
No.
She said, "I'm getting away from the kids."
Well, she was
Well,
busy.
yeah, I mean, my mom was also why would she want to be a class, leave a school
Amen.
to go to another school?
She's busy running it, but running all the classrooms.
Yeah, she's like, mm-mm.
7, you didn't talk much about mental health in your home. 8, you rarely shared a family dinner.
Oh,
The
no,
family
that's not true.
dinner, I think, dissolved with my generation. I think the Gen Xers were the last ones to always sit down at the family table for dinner, and now that just doesn't really
we
happen
usually
anymore.
did.
You did? That's good.
Yeah,
And
most
I think-
nights.
'cause I
No.
think it's helpful.
And at my grandparents, we did. So
Yeah, and that's what
But
I think. But I just think
yeah.
it's got one. There were still in my generation there were still enough stay-at-home moms that moms were home in time to prepare dinner, etc. and it just allowed for, and now it's just everybody's on different schedules and coming and going, et cetera, and that's why that has.
I think if you'll look at the day when TV dinners were invented or created, I think that will also fall in that.
There's a direct line. Yeah,
Yes.
food just gotten easier to prepare. The number 9 is you received lots of thoughtful advice. 10, you were taught resilience over fear. And 11, you have a close relationship with your mom today. Again, those are people my age raising people that are Sam's age from the mom perspective. I didn't, of course, I didn't understand those as much as I understood the others because I was not directly included in this formula. Sam, did you hear any of those that struck a chord?
I mean, see, if anything else, it probably would have been a little bit more towards your age range.
I thought I thought most of those were outliers for you. Like when I looked at them, I was like, I don't think that's Sam. I don't think that's Sam. I don't think that.
No.
So maybe your family took more of a traditional approach or a more
and I mean
something.
My mom is more on the I'm not going to say it the other range of that generation.
Makes sense.
Not specifying as to which range, so she might have had some touches of the other side.
I guess you do have a very strong appreciation for sports and classic rock.
Yes, because that's what my dad. I mean, that's for my dad. Yeah, without question.
So that would be, that would put you on the Boomer to Gen X list because that's where your love of classic rock comes from. Like Queen is the Queen. At the top of your list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm just lucky to be here.
We're glad you're here. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Today's Did You Know? Coming right up. You're on In the Know.
Successful small business owners know that having an ally in decoding the data of your business performance is vital. A trusted source that can interpret financial reports, advise on tax code, and assess overall performance can be the difference between sleepless nights and peace of mind. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis & Hart is your ally in making sure your business is performing at an optimum level. Call or contact today to find out how Buckles, Travis & Hart can help fine-tune your business to create peak performance. 270-259-5604. GreasonCPAs.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-648-9174. 800-648-9174. That's 800-648-9174.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
Call 800-989-1647. 800-989-1647. That's 800-989-1647.
Every child deserves the best teachers, facilities, and academic programs to set them up for success both now and in the future. At Milton Hershey School in Hershey, Pennsylvania, we make that a reality for children from qualifying families who are looking for greater opportunities. Milton Hershey School enrolls students from pre-K through 12th grade from across the United States to live and learn on a beautiful state-of-the-art campus with all costs covered. Students who are accepted to Milton Hershey School have access to a top-tier education, along with health care, meals, housing, and fully funded career pathways to pursue whatever they're passionate about, from performing arts to internships to coding. Students can even accrue up to $95,000 to continue their education after high school, thanks to the generosity of chocolatier Milton Hershey and his wife, Catherine. Are you looking to set your child up for success or know a child who could benefit from Milton Hershey School? Learn more at mhskids.org/admissions.
Few things are more important for safe driving than good eyesight. That's why starting January 1st, 2025, a new Kentucky law requires vision screening for anyone renewing a driver's license. Simply bring your completed vision form from your vision specialist to any driver licensing regional office. or get free vision screening at the time of renewal. For more details, go to drive.ky.gov.
A message from Team Kentucky and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
Hi, this is Leanne Womack. I fell in love with country music as a child listening to my dad spin records at a radio station. I always dreamed of hearing my own songs on the radio. I set a goal and achieved it. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Never let anyone tell you it's impossible. So if you have the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I
am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
This is a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedSpace.org.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, SOHD.info.
Twin Lakes weather. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds today with highs in the upper 70s and the low 80s. It will be a bit windy as well with some of those gusts near 30 miles per hour. For tonight, going to keep some clouds overhead as temperatures drop down into the 50s and the low 60s. That small rain chance still in the forecast. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana.
So hot in here, so hot in. Oh.
Did you know? According to a Harvard psychologist, Miss Buckles, look over your right shoulder. Okay, well, I tell you this. Dogs are probably dreaming about their owners when they sleep.
Aww.
So she dreaming about both of us?
Aww,
or just you? Probably just you is what I'm going for. That's what...
No. I heard you all got closer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
that. I don't know that I'm number one, but I'm
Where's Alea rank though?
You know,
because she comes and goes. You know, that's the other thing I was talking about there. They're enjoying simple things like bird watching. Being part-time empty nesters allows for more time to do stuff like that historically I haven't had an opportunity to do. So it just kind of comes with the territory. But she's
Alea. So Gertie she likes Alea, but she prefers the adults.
What about Brady?
Well,
Gertie does not like Brady.
No.
No, really?
No, he doesn't. Gertie doesn't dislike Brady, but when Brady's here, she goes, "How long is this going to be a thing?"
You can tell, like when she looks in the back glass doors, it's kind of like, you
Without a
again. Of course, he's banging on the back glass of the doors and windows, and she's looking at him like, "What are you doing?"
On A Complete Unknown, well, I was going to give you the movie releases first before we talk about other movies that you might have already seen, but the new movies are out for the weekend. Death of a Unicorn is out.
Oh, no.
That's Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Yeah, don't tell Alea.
I at least know them.
Yeah, I do know them. A Working Man is out. That's Jason Statham, and it's an R-rated action thriller. And The Woman in the Yard is a PG-13 horror mystery starring people that I've never heard of, and I'm going to venture a guess that you all probably have not either. A Complete Unknown. I told you that I wanted to see it as soon as that it comes to a TV and it's available. Well, it's available now without a fee. It's on Hulu, and we have a Hulu subscription, which I meant to ask you, are you watching anything on Hulu currently?
I've tried,
Okay,
but
I'm not.
I
And
keep
so
falling asleep.
I'm going to watch this and then probably turn it off, because if we're not watching it, then
Well,
we'll
there's
just turn
a couple
it.
series I've saved.
But we'll turn it back on whenever you're ready for that. But I'm like, I didn't even know the last time I went to Hulu. But I'd like to see. I'm going to see this Bob Dylan picture.
So you'll report back on Monday?
When I get around to it. Yes. No, I won't see it this weekend. I have too much other stuff to catch up on. It won't be a priority. The Sundance Film Festival is officially moving to Boulder, Colorado. So it has been at Park City, Utah for 40 years, but they are packing up and moving to Boulder, Colorado, that, was formed by Robert Redford. And I first thought, well, they have to change the name from the Sundance Film Festival to the Boulder Film Festival. Well, no, it would have been the Park City Film Festival. I had forgotten that Robert Redford named that because of his character, the Sundance Kid. In Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, he just used Sundance to name that.
You know what the other finalists for it was?
I do not know. What was it?
Was Cincinnati.
Cincinnati was in there. You can see why they probably stayed in the mountains. They just moved one state over, closer to home.
Yeah, because Cincinnati was a finalist.
I wonder what the significance of Cincinnati was.
I don't know, but Louisville was in the semifinalists. But there have been quite a few movies filmed in the Cincinnati area over the years. Rain Man's probably the most famous one.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Ed Sheeran has revealed the title of his next album, Play, and performed a new song. He was on The Tonight Show Wednesday night, so if you've got Peacock and you want to go look up Jimmy Fallon from Wednesday night, you can see Ed Sheeran.
Is UConn already lined up to get it when it comes out?
He's the one who told me about it.
So,
yeah. Rashida Jones was on a podcast earlier this week. She was on Amy Poehler's podcast, in fact. And they talked about the time that she was on The Office.
Mm-hmm. Karen Filippelli.
And, she was on for one season. And they kind of drilled down on that a little bit on why she wasn't brought back. And it's because people hated her character. Because people were so Jim and Pam.
Mm-hmm.
That this is one of those, it's like when people were trying to get in the middle between Chandler and Monica. Like anyone who even broached that got the fangs of people saying, don't mess with that. And so the writers decide, a lot of times a good antagonist is good. But she was not good for the show. Like it had the opposite effect of what they were hoping for in just developing drama. And so they didn't rewrite her into the next season. But she was good on the show.
Yeah, she was fine. And I mean, it turned out fine with her because she went to Parks and Rec and was a star over there.
Yeah, without a doubt. But it's just kind of funny how people are like that, or they get protective of characters and series and things and say, don't be messing with that character. Or messing with that couple. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. MB's Point to Ponder right ahead here on In the Know.
Every single person has profound worth because every single person has value that can't be earned or taken away. One of the greatest illustrations of that principle comes from my late friend Dr. Gary Smalley, who was a master communicator. At one of his speaking engagements, he pulled a $100 bill out of his pocket and asked if anyone wanted it. Hands went up all over the auditorium, but instead of giving it to someone, Gary crumpled it into a ball and said, "Now who wants it?" Again, every hand eagerly went into the air. Then Gary dropped the money to the floor and stepped on it. Still, every person wanted the $100 bill. Why? Because money pretty much retains its full value no matter what condition it's in. That's equally true for you. You are of supreme value. Even if you're listening to me and thinking, you don't know my story, you don't know what I've done, I'm too broken to have any worth, it's not true. Like that $100 bill, your worth as a human being cannot be earned or taken away. No matter who you are or what you've done, you're valuable because you're a human being, a person created with a divine nature. You are unique. If you're questioning your worth and need someone to talk to, give one of our counselors a call here at Focus on the Family. 1-800, the letter A and the word family. And for more to help you thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We save saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
MB's point to ponder for today. So I was in Midway Pharmacy last week, and I was cold medicine shopping for you. And so I was standing there in the array of the over-the-counter medicines.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. There's the capsules, there's the fizz tabs, there's the gels, But then it struck me. In the same product was, like the regular, there was the extra strength, and then there's the maximum strength.
Mm-hmm.
To which I think, who are the people buying the first two? Like, who walks up and goes, I need cold medicine, but I only want what's 2/3 of the maximum I could get. I want to get well, but not as fast as I could.
Maybe the people who want to miss a couple of days of school or something.
I mean, what is that?
There you go.
What is the? But it is kind of interesting.
That's funny, Sam.
Can you then set the timeline of which you recover? Like, you could be well tomorrow if you take the maximum strength. If you need a sick day, let's take the extra. But if you really want to slow walk this thing into the weekend, let's just go with the regular strength.
Right.
It just doesn't. You would think that it would replace the previous. But then I guess there's nothing to compare it to, because then it just becomes the normal. If the maximum is the only one you can get, it is also the best and the worst.
I mean, there is a cost difference, so maybe.
It's a little like being the only son. You're both the best and the worst.
Yeah.
You get to do all of those. On TV tonight, 90 Day Fiancé, TLC. This is Jovi and Yara go to Vegas. Is this current? Or are they completely off on this?
Read the first.
Jovi and Yara go to Vegas. Natalie runs away from Sequim.
That's so old.
That's old? Okay. Then the NCAA Sweet 16 continues. Michigan State versus Ole Miss. Tennessee and Kentucky. Auburn versus Michigan. And then Houston versus Purdue. 1, 2. So 3 SEC teams in action tonight. Tomorrow night, Morgan Wallen is the musical guest. Mikey Madsen is the host on SNL. You get so you're going to have Duke and Alabama tomorrow?
Yep.
And then you'll have Texas Tech and Florida.
Correct.
Okay. Then we'll find out who plays on Sunday. The tournament will continue. American Idol is on Sunday as well. Miss Buckles, you got an appointment. I know you need to slide out. You don't typically leave during a segment, but you on a schedule. So I love you. Be careful.
I love you too.
Let's see. Birthday.
Have a great weekend, Sam.
Today's highlight in history for today is this date in 1979, America's worst commercial nuclear accident occurred with a partial meltdown inside the Unit 2 reactor at 3 Mile Island near Middletown, Pennsylvania. Reba McEntire is 70 today. Salt from Salt and Pepper is 59. Vince Vaughn, Baba Ganoush, is 55 today. Ashley Moody, the senator from Florida, is 50. Julia Stiles is 44. And Lady Gaga is 39 today. Gone but not forgotten, August Bush Jr. in 1899. Marlon Perkins in 1905. Those are your gone but not forgottens for today. Your chart toppers go a little something like this. This date in 1945, Johnny Mercer.
I was very intrigued in watching to see if Gertie was going to follow Christy out of the studio, but no, it seems Gertie has stayed in there with you.
Oh, yeah.
Is she too sleeping?
There'll be a post-show treat. And so she knows.
Oh, so she's okay. She's trained well.
Well, plus this way, if she stays in here with me, she can't follow her to the driveway or to the garage or wherever she might be going.
Stole my heart.
1954, Perry Como and Wanted.
Someone I trusted.
We now know how you've gotten her on your side more.
Well, that's true.
Bribery. Bribery works for all.
I told Alea on Wednesday that we had done the bit on Wednesday. You probably didn't hear it, but
I did not.
It's if Gertie could Google
Oh.
the things that would appear in Gertie's search history if she could Google. We had some fun with that. The Chiffons, He's So Fine. 1963. By the way, Sam, I know you're in the coming weeks and months, you're going to be looking for content that you think stands out.
Oh, okay.
I think that if Gertie could Google, might not be too bad.
Over and over again.
1972. Paul Simon.
Are we gonna be
Child Reunion.
Are we gonna be starting the K105 TikTok?
I don't know. Are we?
The K105 crew has been asking for that, but they want to run it, and I said I don't know that we can do that.
They can.
But everything would have to be approved, and
They better stay in bounds. I mean, they would be on a very short leash. 1981, Blondie and Rapture. It is funny how much credit this song gets for bringing on rap, because if you get to about 3.5 minutes of this song, this is the first hit to have rap in it. Now, if you ask LL Cool J, he might not say that's rap, but it did create it as a theory in music where you go, oh, you could talk over music. Interesting. Taylor Dayne, number one, this date in 1990. All right, Kenny Chesney was number one in, I think, what year was that? 99 with How Forever Feels. Chris Brown was number one with You in 2008. Bruno Mars, That's What I Like, was number one in 2017. Sam, how did Cooper do yesterday? I didn't look.
they won.
They won. All right,
So they played
today.
Great Crossing.
All right, well, so the Malachi Marinos of the world.
Yeah, he had a big game against Davis County yesterday.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a short trip for the Panthers. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, real happiness is cheap enough, yet we pay dearly for its counterfeit. Real happiness is cheap enough, yet we pay dearly for its counterfeit. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WKHG Litchfield. The Twin